What's up, y'all? Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Okay. All right, welcome you guys. Happy, what is it? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I just want to show you guys a series of unfortunate events. I want you all to just witness here with me. Whether it's just the tiniest violin in the world or just a moment of silence, truly, to this one right here. We're gonna need a microscope, but wow, just look at this right here. That's right. 0.2. 0.2. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. This is trading, my friends. Funny enough, I had totally forgotten I had set this limit up. So I was like, actually kind of surprised. I was like, oh yeah. So, hey, it happens to the best of us. So, what's up, chat? I feel sorry for you. It's all right. All right, what's up, Kevin? Cali, Colombia, en la casa. What's up? Happy Wednesday, Luis. Got Nick Drevis in the house. We got Fast Track Gang in here. Syndicate Gang in here. We got YouTube Gang in here. Awesome. For those of you right now that are here on the exclusive Syndicate Zoom, obviously, if you guys have any questions, unmute yourselves. You can screen share at any point. Logically, obviously, would make the most sense. So yeah, make sure to hop on the Zoom link to this to the YouTube stream is on the Syndicate group. But for everyone else, man, what's up? What's up, Seth? Got Sen, Caius, Melara, Gonzala, Patrick, Sergio. What's good, y'all? Corey, Lil Janko. What's up, Amy? Fortunately, you were working. Yeah, the gold short is definitely playing out nicely. Missed by a few ticks. Yeah, saltiest miss so far. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this here before I forget or something. Playing out nicely. Missed by a few ticks. If you're on the Zoom, just stay on the YouTube, but just mute it. Mute it. Appreciate y'all. Pain. Yeah, a little bit. It's all good. It's all good. So we're gonna dive into what we can expect for today. What's up, primo? ¿Qué tal? Brandon, Defi, buenos dias, Austin. All right, guys. First and foremost, grateful for us that we have the ability to trade. That we even live in the times where this is possible. Yeah, y'all ever just take a second to think about that? Like you happen to be born in the just lightning strike of being able to do this. It's right here, man. So let me get this here. Edwin, it's right over here. Let me just pin it for you. Right here. Yeah, we're alive right now of all the times. And we get to participate where I would argue, no, I don't even think it's an argument, it's just the easiest time, or at least just the most accessible time in the world for absolutely anybody to do anything, have access to freedom, self-discovery, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, it's here. So just wanted to take a second to, kind of internalize a little bit the moment that we're living in, because as much as it gets pushed that life is so terrible and that there's all this conflict, which sure there is, but it's also just a life of opportunity. Like there's a life of being able to set the tone for yourself. If you're like in the US or majority of first world countries, like you are dealing with hilarious problems, like, oh no, my latte was cold, so like we're in good times. But all right, let's dive into it. Metals are doing their thing. Nothing to do here anymore. Just wanted you guys to cry with me. But from here, let's go take a look at oil. I love that, Edwin, you brought that up in the zone. And then let me get the Zoom chat popped up here for me as well. Oh, you caught it on your live. Sick. Good stuff, Sophia. The price of perfection.
Oh, I thought you have gym first thing in the morning.
What's up? Who's talking right now? What's up, Amy? So I'm gonna unmute you. Maybe that was by accident, but feel free to unmute yourself at any point. Could have been alive in the dark ages. If I would have been born like even 100 years ago, like I'm a slave. So like I'm hyped. I'm good out here. So okay, now walking and talking about oil. What we've seen pretty interesting price action. Yesterday we talked a little bit about how I'm not the biggest fan of this trade, solely because yes, we sweep liquidity from right here. So we do start to dump from this area down to this level. I think I marked this up maybe in the micro contract. Okay, no, I did not. But either way, basically the same thing. We see the way that you definitely can see smart money come in. Money dumps right there. So in this moment, see a massive sell-off, captures tons of liquidity, and we're talking about New York session, London session liquidity, and just trading into Asian session imbalances over here, right? And then the market decides to climb its way above where we sweep. So typically, if I'm looking for a shakeout setup, if I'm looking for a setup where you have retail sellers induced, buyers liquidated, and then you have like a break, you break below and you retest, typically it lures in more retail sellers before dropping. Here, I feel like we just don't get the same thing. So we work our way higher, not enough momentum to make higher highs, and we come right back down. So I do feel like there's vulnerabilities to this idea right now. And for example, had we had the market give us a clear structure to the upside, and then we can actually hold demand. So let's say we would have been bullish like this. Then this is a very easy, like this is a signature mitigation buy, whether you're trading in this order block right there, that's the last push down, or you're trading in this imbalance. But this could have been an easy setup. However, obviously that's just not how it went down. That's not how it went down. And so we don't get enough momentum to confirm bullish structure. So we kind of drop. If anything, this mitigates right here. And we start to work our way back down. The London and Tokyo highs are basically over here. And then we work our way down some more. So what could give this at least some sort of push higher? The fact that we have a big sell-off, and if smart money wants to open up their buy positions, then cool, this could pump. But for me, I'm not going to trade this with the full risk because we don't get the structure. The shakeout, we do come back into the structure, and could this be luring in sellers? For sure. I would say best case scenario in this imbalance, I'm looking for a setup, and it would be with less risk. So definitely not a full risk trade, maybe a half risk trade here. And this is something that you could still get, 2.5R, 3R over here, risking less.
Hey Mike, can I say something about oil?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
You know those swing lows on the 15-minute? I see it as a trend line if you draw it out. So just be careful about that.
So you're saying right here?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, I can see that for sure. See, there we go. We have another instance of liquidity building up here. Now on top of this, here's the thing, right? You could see this break, so you could see it like break below. So a break of trend line like this would make sense. So if it breaks to the trend line and then that tags you in, that actually could be useful. But if it just continuation and creation of more liquidity, then not. And honestly, bro, with that being said, I'm personally not gonna introduce risk into my account with this. I'm okay with missing out for sure. Yeah, good looks there, Harshi. Love that. All right, what's up, Fabrizio, Steph? Go get the fast track gang and drop a fast track in the chat if that's you right now. You're in that 30-day run. I think this is day 2 for y'all. What's up, iPhone? Would you like to say something? All right, I think you're accidentally muted. Sweet. So we can all whoop whoop from the gym, Amy. That's funny. Yeah, you got to get the kids lit about school, education. Okay, so oil. Y'all keep me posted on this, but let's go look at some indices. Now, remember, we had this morning, right? We had the ADP non-farm employment change. Did anyone trade that? Any of you all trade that this morning? Y'all let me know.
Yeah, I had a setup for NQ for the sell-off.
Okay, how'd that go?
I got hit out at a small R, very small, basically break even.
Okay.
I think I managed it too aggressively, but we'll see after the open.
All right, we shall see. We shall see. Fell back asleep. I chose the run over the trading this morning. So okay, now we're starting to tackle on the New York highs. So Dow right now, it's got 2 minutes, and you got New York open. So we're more than likely going to clear these highs. You guys have seen that S&P and NASDAQ have already traded above yesterday's New York highs, and it is approaching. It's getting closer and closer to some of this price action over here. I don't know about you guys, but NASDAQ just did, in my opinion, showed us a nice move up before the sell-off. S&P similar, even Dow, right? You can kind of see where you have this last pump. Nice little pump up here. Very mellow. I think it looks a lot more obvious with NQ, where it just takes out a whole, rebalances and then works its way lower. So I'm open to sells with NASDAQ over there. And then right now, if we take a look at the way price is moving, what did we just see, with the news event? We had NQ take out London highs. NQ took out London highs. It worked its way back in. You could consider this like a shakeout sell. So, clear some liquidity for London. We trade a bit above it, tucks back in to lure in more break and retest buyers. And then now it's starting to work its way down. In my opinion, I think this is still, it's definitely could still go higher. So I wouldn't chase any sells. And then if you're looking at, okay, well, what's happened during London session, Asian session, are indice markets leaving us here opportunity of any sort? So do we have the option to, take something over here? And I do see potential trades. So for example, NQ here dumps right here, takes out some retail buyers a little bit, so we kind of break below and then rally, but that's only after barely being able to trade above this. So bullish structure doesn't look great there. If you look at this with Dow Jones, for example, you could see Dow is already breaking above. It's already trying to get to some of these higher levels. So look at how, Dow is starting off bullish. NQ is starting off bullish, and we are approaching this sell zone over here. So,
hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off, but
that's exactly what you did, Corey.
I just want to let you know the liquidity above this sell zone on the 5 minute. If you look to the left.
Above what sell zone? NQs?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, man.
And the imbalance. Yeah, no problem.
Beautiful. NQ right there, got liquidity, got imbalance above that as well. And then we have S&P struggling to break through here. So clearly there's more bullish momentum with NASDAQ than there is S&P and Dow. So right now, as you guys can notice, you can see there's quite a bit of liquidity sitting above these areas. So we had actually marked this up before on Dow as well. Right there. And then, but remember guys, as you're looking at your setups, please look at like the YM charts, mini charts is what's going to be the most accurate. So sometimes the micro will show you something that NQ does not. So, or micro will show you something that mini doesn't. So for example, here these are aligned, right? You see pretty much liquidity up here, so these can be vulnerable for sells. But when you look at, sometimes you see a much bigger wick on the micro chart than you will on the mini chart. Follow what the mini chart is showing you, okay? That's going to be the clearest sign of less like orders getting filled where ideally they would. It's a lot easier for orders to get filled on mini because there's way more volume there. So with that being said, right, we'll look at the discrepancy right now. Look at the difference between NASDAQ and Dow. Dow already is pushing lower, right? It's already starting to break below after sweeping liquidity. So Dow is already showing us signs that if we can kind of create and maintain bearish structure here, we could look for a sell here, right? And that, why are we going to look for sells here? Because this is that smart money buy. New York open buy comes in, so there's obviously volume that drives price up to liquidate momentum. So we see that happen. We see it push up to here, and that mitigates and sends us down. So Dow right now possibly creating an opportunity for shorts here later, whereas NQ still holding up structure pretty well. So if NASDAQ is staying bullish, then what's the best idea for, okay, so should you sell NQ if NQ is the most bullish right now? Does that give you the best opportunity? No, right? Okay. Bitcoin above 72K, a sick. So, okay. Now, if Dow is trading much more bearish than, let's say, NASDAQ or S&P, then sells with Dow make a lot more sense. Right now, I'm not inclined yet to take a sell because, yes, we broke below this low. However, if price can't stay bearish here, then this break below for Dow, it may only just be a liquidity capture and an imbalance fill. And then the market, now that it did that, it could go higher. So you want to make sure that structure, you get a bit more price trading down here and all that, okay? So NQ now is in this higher time frame zone where we had originally, we thought, okay, there's possibilities that we could sell here. Since NQ is getting to the zone first, I am not going to sell. So I don't want to sell. I don't want to get in front of the raging bull, right? Doesn't make sense to do that, at least not for me. Obviously, you guys, if you have the data that you can still take a trade, then do it. Obviously, like you have your journals, you have your documentation, do whatever makes sense to you. I'm just teaching you. My goal every stream is to make sure you're trading out of a proper foundation, that you're trading out of systems. If you've never learned how to build your own system or what that even means, then make sure you're using the classroom section. This is all free. And in the Smart Money Playbook here, there's a couple, like this whole section basically walks you through how to build a system, how to combine it with some of my models. And that's how you can just make the most out of what you're doing every day instead of just, aimlessly taking shots at the market. So now, okay, so we're starting to get a bit more time below that low. This is good. We'd like to see this. This is giving us a better and better opportunity at sell. So we're seeing the development of a possible setup. This is good. I'm thinking MYM is going to go higher because MES is lagging behind on the Fib tool. In which way? And hey, Fast Track guys, if you guys have any questions on anything, setups or anything as well, make sure you, I think Nance maybe has a post already for Fast Track today. If not, then yeah, go ahead and ask in there. But yeah, we're seeing a really good push now. So look at how everything's moving in unison. Markets are a lot easier when these correlated assets, remember Dow, S&P, NQ, they're correlated. So they move together for the most part, except that some are going to be more aggressive in one direction, while the others are moving a bit less, with less like volatility, less potency. So clearly we're seeing Dow set the tone. Dow's already trading down here, so it's pushing lower faster. So the sells are getting more and more opportunity to play out. Now, if we're gonna look for buys, let's say there's a buy setup. Now we can start to think, okay, well, if NQ is dropping with less intensity here, could we have an opportunity somewhere? And honestly, if we spend more and more time above these highs, above these London highs, there really is a chance for buys right here. So we haven't quite worked our way down to this, but there's a small dip right here, right? There's a small push. There's a liquidity capture here. So you have a few hours worth of support, retail buying, and then this push down liquidates a fair amount of liquidity here. So at this point, not bad. Now this is only if we stay bullish like this. If not, then I'm gonna delete the zone, and then it's fine. The other zone that I like here, just talking about just the recent price, the range that we have, would be here from, honestly, Tokyo. We have a nice sweep below. It's a last push down before the market rallies. So you can definitely see a pretty decent trade right here as well. So there's some key zones, right? In order for this to be valid, I would want to see price maintain structure here. It looks like that might not be the case. And if so, that's actually fine. I'll just delete this. Not a big deal. But that's kind of at least the range that we're seeing so far. Of course, we can zoom out some more. And after this though, like if you see where Tokyo dropped to, this rebalanced pretty well. So unless you want an even lower buy, I think you should, in the YouTube chat, I think if you drop buy in the chat like another 30 times, I think that'll definitely be useful and productive to all of us right now, for sure. So just keep spamming that. Yeah, that's a really good idea. So, yeah, I mean, let's take a look at NQ here. Maybe there's still a lingering little setup right here. Okay. All right. It wouldn't be entirely impossible, but you can see how right here we get a nice dump. This is like an hour and a half after New York open, so you see NQ dump. This is that shakeout buy. This is beautiful, by the way. Anyone that caught this yesterday, you are a legend. But we had that liquidity capture. The market lures in retail sellers, and then last push down before it rips. I think Harshi took this. Some of you took this, Luis. So love that, guys. You guys crushed it with this one. So yeah, this is possibly a play here. We don't come back to this. We don't really rebalance that much. So let me zoom out a little bit. I just kind of want to see if we get anywhere near this. I don't think we do. Yeah, we just keep ripping from here, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so these are all, I would say, the key levels that we're at now. That in my opinion are at least worth taking a shot at. So look at how NQ, every time it tried to get above this, it just failed. So it looks like we're going to start getting reversals. I think today might be, a nice reversal day. So I'm not inclined to really trade this. If we break into this right now, it's not something I'm looking to take advantage of. So yeah, let's keep looking at. So look at how Dow is still going lower. That was really proving that it's got more bearish intentions today out of anything else. So this is fine. Perfect. So now this setup is looking better. Maybe some of you took the sell off the liquidity sweep, like once it cleared it. Not really a trading model for me, but just because it takes a high or a low doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to take a position. But We're getting closer. So my opportunity, like what I would want to short in here would then be something like this. So we've seen plenty of resistance in the zone before. I think taking a short in this range is more than okay. And then where we take this to really is going to depend on how we work our way back over to this zone. So at least wiping out Tokyo lows makes sense to me. Unless we get down here before I can do anything about it, then if we keep going lower, then we'll kind of see what this turns into. But for now, yeah, Dow definitely has got the momentum. Personalmente no vendo Nasdaq, está entre Nasdaq y Dow Jones. Dow Jones es muchísimo más bajista. Entonces, cuando tenemos un índice mucho más bajista que el otro, si escoges el que está menos bajista, es el que más probablemente puede tocarte stop loss o no mantener la estructura por aquí. Esas solo son mis experiencias y la evidencia que yo tengo, pero obviamente pues ya, puedes hacer lo que quieras. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna chill on this. So for now, I'm gonna let indices be. We have alerts all over the place, so we'll be good. I'm gonna go ahead and place. I'm gonna share this in the community, this setup. That way, anyone that's following along can be ready to take this at some point. Today's setups. What's today? The 4th? Dude, March. Cruising. Alright, potential mitigation sell. Okay. Alright, so that's set in stone. Obviously, there's no trades yet, not that I've taken. The gold trade just missed us, as you guys saw, by like 2 ticks, so that's okay. Now with this volatility, remember guys yesterday the Australian setup that we were looking for? Anyone happen to get triggered on that? Let me know. I got missed by a fraction again, so that's been the start of the week, but not a big deal. This trade did travel enough to hit not just 2R, but 3R, or just about a 3R, so I know many of you took profit on this, especially since it rebalanced. I don't see why you would want to stay in this idea, at least for a conservative, solid 2.5 through our exit. Like this rebalanced. This is like profit should be. In my opinion, I feel like profit should be taken, but obviously that's just me. With that being said, yeah, great setup for anyone that was able to hit some profits with this. I love that. Got some news in 17 minutes. Do we? Oh, we do. We have ISM services. That's right. Okay. Yeah, we can get. That's an extra layer of volatility. Still in stop with some profit, but waiting for your 1 to 3. Okay, guys. So do you prioritize? Right? Do you prioritize your RR over what the technicals are showing you? Is that just like something for you, or how do you approach that? So meanwhile, with this idea, we're now working our way higher. Is there another dollar pair setup? And right now, I'm really not seeing much. I'm not really seeing many opportunities. There's this yen sweep up here, and then everything kind of starts to work its way down, so this might be a play. I don't know if you guys noticed this one, but this is for the yen. I know most of you trade futures, or many of you trade futures, so we had a liquidity sweep here during Thursday's Tokyo session. This gives us a nice pump right there, and then from here we see this go down. So market doesn't really come back here at all to mitigate, and we've definitely created bearish structure. So I think we can see some sells over in this range. So here's another idea I'm definitely waiting for. with the yen. So here's 6J. All right, you got yen. Sell mitigation. Okay, that's saved. If you guys are in tune with this, then let me know. If you guys have your own setups you like, let me know. All right, let me look at the Zoom chat. So did that YM short go from being a potential shakeout to a mitigation now? Yes, iPad. The mitigate. I mean, yeah, the shakeout was basically only an idea for like a couple minutes because it just broke through right away. So it was really like only for like 2 minutes. Now we've broken below structure. We are, at least below this structure here. If we can stay below this even longer, even better confirmations for reversals. So, yeah, it looks decent. Looks like the other indices are currently heading towards a higher mitigation setup. So here we saw the rejection of this order block. NQ came right back down into this level. I would not have taken this by any means. Way too high. The risk reward is absolutely trash if you take a buy from over here. So unless you have like a big picture idea, but this is like very much, I'd say, low hanging fruit. Having a 1-to-1 have to be like almost 100 points is pretty rough. So yeah, not my favorite. The lowest, you marked up the same yen zone. Dope, Brennan. It's the lowest NQ zone. Could you consider it already mitigated? The lowest NQ zone. The one for a buy or the one for a sell?
Buy.
So this one over here?
No, the one above it.
So the one, okay.
I meant, well, I was thinking about step, that's why I said lowest, my bad.
Yeah, so 100. Yeah, this is done. This is mitigated for sure. I wouldn't pursue that again.
All right.
We're rebalancing right now here. So sometimes this will play out. Like sometimes you'll see it want to get efficient and then maybe go lower. We'll kind of see right now. But look at how the 1 minute cool broke. Now we're on the 5 minute, and this is basically making decisions. It looks like we are going to have a pretty good demand. Like you can tell that when price is here below 48,450, it's not just buyers taking over again. There's definitely buyers and sellers back and forth. Contracts are being exchanged at these prices. So there is demand over here for now. So we have alerts here. So we're set in stone there. And then, okay. So we'll come back to this. You guys already have this. You're ready for this. Obviously, the chat, y'all are always on top of it. So if you guys want to let me know, so, market's moving back up or whatever, cool. Y'all just let me know. Now let's go take a look at gold continuing to work its way lower. As I wasn't triggered in. It even looks like I am too. Like even like optical illusions over here. So this was a trade that I was targeting Tokyo lows as of right now, and then I still, had I just been paying attention, I probably could have taken it right there. But I decided to go for a run instead. We have plenty of liquidity here that is getting swept at the moment. So London lows getting taken out with gold. Silver also more bearish. It's already breaking below. So if you look at like where we had right about midnight Central Time. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, that's right. So this is already breaking below these levels of liquidity, trading into these zones. Guys, for those of you that were on the syndicate session last night, these were our silver buys that we were talking about yesterday too. So a little bit bigger of a range. I wouldn't have taken it, but it did mitigate here as well. So good stuff, good stuff. And so right now we're seeing silver leading the bearish push down. So I wouldn't want to buy that. Gold here with liquidations. And right now it looks like a big push down, a clear sweep of at least London lows. If we see the market come back up into here, and maybe so if we see something like this, now that gold took this out, oh, that was gross, like this, right? If we see it come back, then we could get a shakeout, and then see this go further out. So I'm curious. Brandon, you said, out of curiosity, what made that gold trade a setup that you left as a pending and forgot about, rather than one you would just take while active? No, I literally just forgot I left it pending. Like I didn't mean to leave it pending. Like I just fell asleep. I had it set up while we were on the syndicate session. Then I went and did my thing, and then before I fell asleep, I just forgot that I had it set up. Yeah, it wasn't like I intentionally left it like that. Yeah, but Austin, good looks. You're starting to detect the pre-formation of like these ideas, these potential zones. So now that this liquidated, we just wanted extra proof. When the market, you see how it came up and down really quickly? I don't typically take that. Like I want to see more proof that the push down was simply to liquidate, to incentivize, entice traders. So yeah, that's a good. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of this here. But yeah, keep me posted for now. Let me know how this keeps trading, if we end up getting something there or not. I don't know if we will yet. This could easily go lower, and we can go push towards all this, take out Tokyo low. So I'm just let the market form. Don't rush it. Okay, so we've seen at this point the market go kind of back and forth after it cleared these lows. So we traded down here for about 6 minutes, 5 minutes, came back up, came back down, came back up again. If you look at Dow versus S&P and NQ, clearly we're seeing NQ want to go higher. So NASDAQ did not give us bearish structure. S&P, still not as bullish as NQ by any means. It's kind of somewhere in between. You can see it's trading, I'd say, more similarly to Dow, YM. Like it's trying to stay lower, whereas NQ, this low was pretty much not a factor here. So we saw the clearance of liquidity. Right now, still not quite bullish, but let's say, for example, if NQ goes higher again, could we see a buy setup here? Maybe. So, yeah, what I want to see out of the market right now is the longer that we keep trading down here, and we have 4 more minutes till this news event, so it's very much possible for us to get a setup here. I'm going to set a limit order, and I'll set here 9 contracts, a little under 500. Actually, I'm going to go another contract up. 540. And then, yeah, tackle this one on right there.
Hey, Mike, I got a question about YM.
Yeah.
Don't you think it already mitigated on the 1 minute based on how that candle came in, tapped that mitigation zone, and just like price left?
I don't, but that's just me. Here we had the open right here, right? We clear liquidity. the market comes down, forms a little order block for like a minute or so. We tap into structure again here. I don't think we've rejected, I don't think we've came in to close out these orders. If you guys think so, like if let's say you're like, I kind of think it did, then just don't take it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it hasn't. Like we didn't really create any new structure and see an exchange of money here so far. At least I don't. Are you saying just because of this right here?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I don't. No, I feel like it's just kind of a continuation at that point.
Okay.
But
okay, cool. Yeah.
I just trade what I see. Like it could be. I don't have the rules, man. But typically, like this, I don't really, like I see this almost happens every trade. Like if you go back to all the mitigation trades that played out for you, go see if you see something like this, because you typically do. So, okay, so let me make sure I need to do here. I don't have my TopStep connected to the trade copier. So I have to manually do this right now. What is this entry? 70 something. Thank you guys for the patience. Cool. No, that's not what I meant to do. All right. Okay. So yeah, from here, I really would have preferred to see the lows here for a lot longer. But we'll see how this plays out. Because now it does kind of look like it breaks beneath this structure and then quickly kind of looks to, it almost looks like it's a liquidation and then a continuation here. So if you guys wanted to go half R with this trade, honestly, I would understand that. Because we have London and Tokyo lows here left untouched, so I do think there is incentive to get there though as well. Okay, so here you have the news event hit, just taps into the zone right there, starting to reject a little bit. In the meantime, you have S&P starting to rebalance and Q almost ready to take out these highs. So we haven't quite made the move yet. Let's go to the 15-second here just to make sure. Look at how we basically created equal highs right there. So I do think we can still go just a bit higher before any potential reversals here. Okay, we're still just building up liquidity in my opinion. If I look at YM, not MYM. Okay, so with mini, we did break this just by a point or a few points. So we break below. So mind you, this move here is 164 points to the upside. If from here we just start to melt away and we make that kind of move, then this would be the mitigation if it were to keep crashing all the way down. Risk reward wise, this is not a trade that I wouldn't want to take it from where we're at yet, like right over there. So I'm not really looking to force anything here. So for now, I'm staying put. We saw now NQ. So here's a good thing. NASDAQ is making higher highs. So it's definitely it's breaking above it. Meanwhile, Dow is still trading below. All right, so we're still getting the divergence, massive difference. We're seeing lower highs still for Dow, while we're seeing higher highs for NQ. So that is definitely a good sign. Question is it going to trigger us in, or is it going to start selling a little short? The fact that it's leaving liquidity here, though, I think that's a sign that we still break above this. So I think we can definitely still see that. Gold, what did gold do? So gold took out lows one more time and then started pushing higher. Gold not really important right now. Okay. So let's see. What are we gonna get here? What are you guys doing? Syndicate, how are you guys approaching this trade? YouTube, what are you guys doing with this one?
Half RR.
Half RR. Gotta run. Later, Steph. What is the best place to get the upcoming news reports? A pretty easy place to get your, just kind of know what's happening is here in Forex Factory. Depending on what it is, so like dollar news, you can, and just currency news, you can always see it here in the calendar. If you want to see what's happening with energy, then you can see oil, natural gas stuff. So like oil, for example, has news here in less than 30 minutes. So you can see stuff like that in Forex Factory. There's a couple other ones too. So if you want to know like the moments that things are going to happen, there's definitely a few more. Feel like it didn't hold long enough. Totally get that. Yeah. But I think this is pretty borderline about to be mitigated. About 100-point drop now. Pretty good move. Not quite the entire move, but yeah. Oh, yep. It's starting to go down. So unless this stops for some reason, then this is the move that we're seeing. Typically, as you guys see, I take the distance of the smart money move, and then that's the minimum distance I want to see it move in the opposite direction. This shows us, like, look at the difference in how volatile things were. So let's say we would have taken this trade and we would have gotten triggered in perfectly here. It's a pretty massive stop. You're using 150-point stop. So even now, with all of this melting, you still wouldn't be at a 1 RR. So I'm okay with this. A lot of times you'll see the market actually reject the structure. So this is a pretty big move. 125 points. Still technically not really enough for me, but yeah, it's moving. Cool. Yeah, so if you guys are staying out, definitely just don't be FOMO'd into it. Keep your cool. As soon as NQ took out that high, came right back in again. Let's see what we're gonna get here. So technically, I mean, this technically is valid for me still. If we come up again, I'm still open to taking this up. All right. So while we see that forming, would be nice if we push up as take the high and then it drops. Maybe. Yeah, that's about it. Maybe. All right, so since we have oil news, so check us out, right? We got oil here in 25 minutes. Let's go see what oil's doing. I'll have an alert here if we start to approach the zone again. Okay, so what's oil doing now? We have, I mean, like this right here is U.S. crude oil inventories. So this is going to be a pretty big difference, right? So this is basically gauging the supply and demand imbalances in the market. And it's forecasted to be very different than what it has been. So like the previous one, we got 16 million barrels, where it was forecasted as 1.8. So pretty massive difference. These are very, very volatile. So I'm curious to see, especially with everything going on right now in Iran And yeah, I think things are going to get pretty interesting. So if we do spike down, like here's this idea, right, that was brought up about oil and then this being able to kind of make a move. I think if anything, what we could see here, it might be a spike down one more time. So you might get another push down in continuation. Not a clear-cut setup for me, so unfortunately, another one of those instances of where I'm just going to be out of the market. And I mean, I'm sure you guys have noticed this, but whenever you force a trade or you're like, I'm not really sold on this idea, like sometimes the market is just super obvious and there's like the setups that are just screaming at you. And then there's setups that are like, like, yeah, I kind of get it. I see it. Could be cool. Could be nice. But you're like, I've seen better ones. So I think just keep your eyes on that. Like, don't feel the need to be in the market all of the time. Like, just do what you got to do. Trade, but trade with an edge. I feel like sometimes you forget that. Like, you're supposed to be trading with an advantage, not just taking whatever shows up. Like, the goal is, trade with an advantage, trade with some sort of opportunity that gives you an extra, that either okay, I've done this a million times, I can actually take and make more, or I have a higher win rate, or when I do win, I win way more than when I lose. So if you all of a sudden start rationalizing ideas, then it's like, okay, for what? For what purpose? So this is getting pretty close to my entry. As was mentioned before, S might actually be able to clear the highs and then trigger this in. We'll see. I know there's a little imbalance right here, so the market actually wanting to just reject exactly right now is very much possible. So if you wanted to go half risk, so let's say you wanted to go like 4 or 5 contracts, or I technically could go like 4 or 5 contracts right here, introduce it just in case the market wants to just reject this order block before it makes its move, then I would definitely understand that. But we'll see here. So this order block right there typically a lot of times can give us a rejection. Let's see, where is S&P? S&P is getting pretty close. It's in an imbalance right now as well. So actually, you know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and... So first, I'm going to delete this. Hold on. There we go. And I'm going to go half risk here. So I'm going to do 5 units. And then 5 units. So now half of my risk is already in the market. The other half is over here. And I might not even need to, right? It might just trigger the limit anyways. So, which is cool. All right, so now I'm introduced half risk in this idea. If it hits the limit over here, let's say it just goes above the order block or trades over to here, then cool, we're set to go for the next half of the risk, which is fine by me. All right, oh come on, by just a hair. Yeah, a lot of times you'll either get in a smart money zone, you'll get rejections either in the order block or within the imbalance or in the last point of supply, which is like where you saw support resistance before. So now if this is going to dump from over here, that still want to see that like 160 point move. So now we'd have to drop back down to like 48,550, assuming like this is, let's say, going to be the high for this range or whatever. So we don't know that. Just because it dumped a little bit here doesn't mean that we're in the clear or anything like that yet. This is just back and forth, up and down. This is how it goes. So you guys have a absolute technique with your entries. You have a duplicatable process with trade management. Your risk, right? Your risk and how you approach it is going to depend a lot on is it your live account? Are you trading a prop firm? What size? What kind of risk reward do you want to give yourself in order to be successful here? Like, you can approach this with a bit more assertiveness. You can be very conservative and give yourself a lot of risk reward. However, it's just going to take you a lot longer. And based on your system, with this, you got to swing into enough of a profitable risk reward in order to pass and get funded. So, there's a lot of different techniques in which how you're approaching risk and it's everything, etc. So keep that in mind as you're tackling this on. So now we're trading into this imbalance and this order block. S&P has effectively taken out the highs. So if we're going to keep the divergence, this is a better sign. At least you know that you're in the asset that is going up at the slowest pace. So maybe that's of use to you, maybe not. But I feel like that's always, it's always nice to know that you've made like at least that decision, right? Okay. Let's see. Zoom, YouTube, any questions? Chuck out for me.
Yeah, Mike.
What's up, bro?
Your thoughts? Just because I'm seeing with your entries, like, I'm in the point where, okay, I'm gonna enter here and only here with this risk, and seeing how you are executing this. Okay, I'll take half here and then half there.
Mm-hmm.
When does it get to a point where, like, okay, it's not like you're not following your plan. It's more of like, with your experience where it's best to enter, just in case it goes without you. Like, some advice, potentially transition to that, or like just thoughts in general.
Yeah. I mean, so that's a really good idea, because you do need to audit yourself. Like, am I making decisions based off of emotions or is it technical? And so the reason I took an earlier entry with less risk here was because of the order block. So, like, because I know, okay, this could just want to reject here, and it did, then the market may not want to trade to a higher level. It might want to just trade out of here, and my risk reward is still good if I take an entry right there. So it's like, okay, I'm willing to take an entry slightly lower than what I had expected to originally, because there is definitely a probability that it can just short from here. So it's basically like still being able to have the opportunity, not really sacrificing too much of my risk reward. And if it does go higher into another key zone, cool, I still have ammo to be able to take that. So, and then it's also like, so for example, when you make a decision when the market is over here, right? So you might make a decision on what you want to do. When the market's over here, well, now you have new information, right? Now you have more context, or you have, it's pretty much that simple. You just have more information, whether it's price action, whether it's, okay, well, what's S&P doing? There's just more detail in which you can kind of put together, you're formulating your perspective, your bias with it. So that's why sometimes, not always, but sometimes I'll be like, oh, okay, let me get in now instead of where I wanted to, because I have more context that's giving me a little bit more, it's giving me, more reason to make a decision. So I think that's when you can start to, I wouldn't say deviate, but call an audible, right? You're kind of adapting to the situation. But if everything is basically still the same, and you don't, or maybe you didn't, like, there's nothing new, then it's probably an emotional decision. Maybe it's more FOMO than it is like for technical purposes. Like, I'm taking a position here.
I feel like with this, like the way I'm perceiving it is like, the only thought that comes into mind is like the RR that could, because I'm right now it's mechanical at a 3.5, seeing like if I enter in like half R and not get my full R in, I won't get that full 3.5 R that I'm consistent with.
Yeah.
And just trying to make peace with, okay, at least I got something.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it would have been 0, right?
Yeah.
So it's either if you, let's say, like you had an idea and then you were going to stick to it, but then, you're noticing something and you go, okay, well, is it still worth for me to make less but still make something rather than make nothing? Which, yeah, of course. But I think if you are going to be making, like slightly entering before you had planned to originally, 1, okay, is the risk still worth it? 2, am I calculating my risk so this is actually what I should be risking? And then just, a quick check, like, okay, is this emotional or is this for technical purposes? Like, I want to make sure I can still get something out of this idea because the risk reward is still good. So, yeah, that's good question. Super good question. What's your thoughts on the spike down below at 71.30? Is that oil? Would you consider this YM sell trending with higher time frame bearishness and counter trending on lower time frames for one of the things I gotta fill out in Trading Journal? Yes. Yeah, so if we were to zoom out, let's say here. Right, so technically, yeah, you're still in a 1 hour downtrend. And once we break here, which could happen, I don't know, could happen today, right? This trade might not work out. That's very much possible. So if this continues and we get above, then only then are you now bullish structure on the higher time frame. But for now, yeah, we're kind of dealing with more bearishness. On the smaller, like the 1 minute, borderline 5 minute at this point. Looks like what our thesis, our perspective, maybe it doesn't changes, but looks like when we broke below and didn't maintain, that was enough of a sign for this to maybe be kind of a warning sign on the trade not really playing out. I thought maybe it was enough since we were here for a good 15 minutes or so, but we'll see, right? I mean, I've seen trades from here make it happen. And we have Dow and NQ way up here, so S&P and NQ trading up in these higher zones. So for all we know, maybe we get that little assist from there, and maybe not. Yeah, we can take a look at oil. All right, so we have oil. All right, I just got stopped out. Cool. All right, so I took a small loss there, or not? It was a 1 hour. I took a loss on that. There were definitely like that structure could have been the reason to not take it. So if you didn't take it, well done. I think that's the biggest motive behind that one. So that puts me at minus 2R on the week. We're seeing Bitcoin still rip, man. Look at this thing. Let's go. And now we're breaking above. The shakeouts have been beautiful here. Bitcoin, honestly, we've traded super nicely. Okay, you have oil here in 9 minutes. So take a look at how oil is playing out. What did you say? The spike at 71 something? So are you looking at this guy right here? I could definitely see this play right there. So what are you looking at, Seth? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I've had that drawn out for a minute. There's also a little 1 minute within it at the very bottom.
Right there?
Yep.
Yeah, I could see the little wick right there. Yeah, we're 8 minutes out on this one, so I'd like to see this one play out. Yeah, maybe this one goes through. Still not super qualified, but the lower one, yeah, solid. Yeah, I think the biggest lesson here, or if you wanted to write anything down with this setup, one, I would say like this low not being super solid. I could have gone half R with this one instead of going full R. Honestly, I probably should have. So I would dock myself with this. I think it was, you know what? I feel like because the liquidity capture was so nice and we worked our way down, I think that in itself was kind of leading it. Some good divergence. Like we saw NQ and S&P way over here. But yeah, there was definitely just too much. The demand, I guess, just wasn't enough for this to really be a good trade. So I would, if I was coaching myself, I'd say like, you definitely, I could have done that better, like for sure. Could have been just clouded by judgment or whatever. But with that being said, when we saw the market pump here, drop back in and rebalance, there's definitely there's a possibility that you could still see a reversal here, but with the equal highs that you have sitting over here, I feel like trying to sell, like you're gonna end up getting rocked. So like, just because you take a trade in one direction at some point in the day doesn't mean you got to keep selling it, guys. Like, I think this is one of the main reasons I see traders that aren't really developed lose accounts, is that they'll just marry a bias and they got like any little movement, like, okay, now it's gonna sell off, now it's gonna sell off, now it's gonna sell off, and then you end up just throwing it all away. Like, all your progress is gone. So give yourself a chance to make good trades, guys. You don't need to be in the market 24/7. You don't need to do these things all the time. Like, just take the good ones. Let's get another look here at gold. We've seen it's just still working its way, lower and lower and lower. It just pushed down again here, trading into some of Tokyo's lows. After it's made this move, it's starting to rally back up again. As you've seen, time, just because it you get a little bit of a spike and it comes up, doesn't mean it's going to give you a huge reversal. You want like important context clues. You want liquidity captures in moments of a lot of volume, not just a little bit, like, oh, here's a small move and whatever. Like, you want to get on the right side of these trades. So be patient. I'm learning now that for break of structure, there needs to be hella more demand after the break of structure, and even though these trades with the questionable amount of demand can play out, I'm still willing to shoot if there's a copious amount of getting taken out. Yeah. I thought there was another message, but I missed it for sure. What determines you're in the clear for a trade once it gets triggered in and starts moving? Were you gonna ask something, Vaughn?
No, my bad. I was unmuted by accident.
Okay. Looks like Nance answered the question. Cool. Do you think the imbalance from March 2nd is a possible sell target? Oh, maybe later. All right. We got, 4 more minutes till we have news hitting? Sweet. Okay. Man, oil, peso, what a move. How are stocks doing today? We got any big winners? Webull up 4.7%. Any big losers or any big winners? Spotify up another 3%. Amazon up 4% today. Oh wow, Amazon, pretty decent drop. Okay. Etsy, PayPal up like about almost 20% from one of our newer entries. Coinbase is up 14% today, y'all. Come on. These lower zones are up fat, 35%, 40%. I know we've been dollar cost averaging in through within these gaps in these zones, but Coinbase ripping. I love it. I love to see it. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, MSTR is going to make a move too. Obviously, these are going to make, like, crypto-related ones are going to make a big jump. Robinhood making a big jump. So it looks like trading platforms make good moves when earnings reports are today for Webull. So hopefully we get a epic gap up. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so relating to this, guys, I mean, anything else with indices and things, like right now, I'm going to wait a little bit longer to make any new decisions. Not going to be buying Dow or anything, but where I do see a possible trade, I'd be curious to see if we actually get all the way down here. But I think NQ does leave a buy setup behind over here for us. So NASDAQ over here, with that last push down about 15 minutes after New York Open. This is when it breaks this low and fails. Right over here, I do think this is a quality opportunity. So clear the lows, we rebalance, and then we're gone. So if we end up maybe getting reversals later today, NQ buys towards the low of New York session, I definitely like this one. We'll see if we get here. I'll go ahead and share this one. So NQ by mitigation. $30 seconds out, guys, from oil news. So if you guys, we can take a look at this here. Just pull it up, see what's happening. Let's see. It wasn't anything extreme by any means. That was pretty chill. Glad I stayed disciplined and didn't enter there. I love that, bro. Love that. That's what I got messed up last month. I got into trades that I didn't really like. Yeah, man, you gotta have that it's like a self-respect thing, you know, like, doesn't matter what I do. Like, think about this. There's trades that I'm taking here that maybe you're like, that you guys could or don't have to trade. And then there's trades that I'm taking when I'm not live. And sometimes their trades are hitting when I'm here on. Sometimes the trades are hitting when I'm not streaming anymore. So having the due diligence and the discipline to just following what you're learning, cool. If you're just building a plan, if you're building yourself right now, if you're figuring things out, then definitely like just keep soaking up information. Like, I'm transparent. Like, I'll tell you guys, like, okay, this could have been done better. Could have waited for more structure. Like, for me, it's not really a thing of ego or pride. Like, I don't get validation from that. So my goal is to give you guys more context, show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and go from there. So yeah, I like the trade, just didn't like the result. I like that. So yeah, oil didn't do shit. So we can kind of move on from here. But yeah, everyone here that's on the stream, the YouTube stream, appreciate you guys as usual. If you guys want to stay more involved throughout the trading session or later in the day, our community is at all-time highs in activity, productivity, communication. So fast track squad, like anything you guys, you know, as you guys are going through more and understanding more concepts, go ahead and keep asking questions there so you have clarity. And then, you know, obviously everyone in the syndicate, we'll chop it up here in the Zoom. in a couple seconds as I wrap up this stream. You're gonna do a session today? Okay. So for those of you that are in the free community, there is a session later today at 8 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Chicago time. That's available for anybody, so feel free to check that out. And then for those of you that are in the Fast Track, Nancy's actually going to host a second session today for you guys to go through some of the work that you're doing. So go ahead and check that out. So Fast Track Squad, you guys are getting bonus session, and then everyone else, yeah, you're good. You have the basic session. So Fast Track 7, Mastering the Basics, available to everybody at 8, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll be live here. All right. So take care, y'all. Peace. All right.